Hi everyone, I don't know how to describe this story, the way people act, I would never in my life think. Fasten your seatbelts, because this is a ride. My wife, Lisa, 46F, and I, 47M, have been married for 22 years. We have had what I thought was a stable, if not perfect, marriage. She was always sharp of tongue and prone to selfishness, but I considered that more personality than malice. We had a decent life, a 20-year-old son, Kevin, now in college, and a familiar way of life. Then, 6 months ago, I was diagnosed with stage 2 lymphoma. The news hit like a truck. It was terrifying, but I was ready to fight. I thought Lisa would be my rock. I thought wrong. At first, she played the supportive wife, making a big show of telling family and friends how hard this was for her, how much she was struggling, how she was being a warrior wife standing by her sick husband. Meanwhile, at home, she was growing distant. Less affectionate, always on her phone, avoiding eye contact. I chalked it up to stress. After all, this wasn't easy for her either, right? Then the late nights started. She'd come home later and later from running errands. She'd take calls in the other room, whispering. She started dressing up more, even for things like grocery shopping. And the sex? Non-existent. Again, I told myself it was stress. But deep down, something felt off. It took me a while to admit it, but I was starting to suspect that while I was battling for my life, my wife was screwing around behind my back. And I had no idea how right I was. So, after weeks of feeling like something was off, I finally decided to pay closer attention. At first, I felt guilty even thinking that Lisa could be cheating on me. I mean, who the hell cheats on their husband while he's literally fighting cancer? But my gut wouldn't shut up, and soon, the little things started adding up. First, there was the phone. She used to be careless with it, leaving it on the counter, sometimes asking me to check her texts while she was driving. Now, it was glued to her hand. She'd tilt the screen away from me, mute notifications, and take calls outside. Then there was her sudden new friend. Some guy named Mia in her contacts was texting her non-stop. I saw it pop up once while she was in the shower. Mia sent her a winking emoji. Now, either her female friend had a very flirty texting style, or Lisa thought she was slick. The nail in the coffin? Her attitude toward me. You'd think a wife would be worried sick about her husband going through chemo. Not Lisa. She acted like I was a burden. If I was too tired to cook dinner, she'd roll her eyes. If I was nauseous, she'd sigh and tell me to get it together. The worst was when I lost my hair, she barely even looked at me. It was like I disgusted her. At this point, I knew. I didn't have hard proof, but I knew. I just needed to figure out who it was and how long this had been going on. And that's when my son, Kevin, unknowingly gave me my first real lead. One night, Kevin came home from college for the weekend. He's a good kid, smart, responsible, way more mature than I was at his age. We were catching up, and out of nowhere, he asked, "Hey, Dad, are you and Mom doing okay?" That question hit me like a truck. I played it cool. "Why do you ask?" He hesitated, then sighed. "I don't know. She's just been acting weird. And I saw her with some guy a few weeks ago." My stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" Kevin rubbed the back of his neck, looking uncomfortable. "I was at the mall with some friends, and I saw Mom in the parking lot. She was with some guy, I don't know who. She was laughing, touching his arm. It looked weird. I didn't say anything because I wasn't sure, but she definitely didn't see me." Boom. There it was. I sat there, gripping my water bottle like I wanted to crush it in my hands. My own damn wife, while I was hooked up to IVs and fighting for my life, was out giggling with some other dude. Kevin must have seen the look on my face because he quickly said, "Look, Dad, I don't want to jump to conclusions. Maybe it was just a friend?" I forced a tight smile. "Yeah. Maybe." But inside, I knew. I fucking knew. I needed proof. I needed to catch her red-handed. And if she thought I was too weak to do anything about it, she was about to learn how wrong she was. That night, I barely slept. My mind was racing with questions. Who was this guy? How long had this been going on? And most importantly, how the hell do I prove it? Lisa was careful, I'll give her that. She wasn't stupid enough to leave obvious evidence lying around. But she underestimated me. She thought I was too weak, too drained from chemo to notice or do anything. Big mistake. The next morning, while she was in the shower, I took my first real step. I grabbed her phone. Locked. Of course. But I knew Lisa. She wasn't the type to use complicated passwords. After 3 tries, our anniversary, Kevin's birthday, and then her old phone's code, I was in. And what I found made my blood boil. The Mia in her contacts? Yeah, no. Not a woman. His real name was Mike. And their texts? Jesus. I felt sick reading them. I miss you already, baby. Last night was amazing. He's still sick, so I can probably come over tomorrow. He won't even notice. You always know how to make me feel good. My hands were shaking. I wanted to throw her phone against the wall. But I wasn't done yet. I checked her recent calls, dozens from him. Bank statements. Charges for hotel rooms, fancy dinners. While I was at home, barely able to keep food down, she was out there spending our money on this piece of shit. And the worst part? She'd been seeing him for months. Months. Probably since right after my diagnosis. I took screenshots of everything. Sent them to my email. I wasn't going to confront her yet, not without a plan. No, if she thought she could humiliate me like this, she had another thing coming. I wanted to rage. I wanted to scream in her face, throw her crap out on the lawn, and let the whole damn neighborhood know what kind of woman she really was. But no. That's what she would expect, some weak, emotional outburst she could manipulate. I wasn't going to give her that satisfaction. Instead, I played it cool. I acted normal. If she wanted to sneak around, I'd let her think she was getting away with it. Meanwhile, I started gathering more evidence. First, I got a burner phone. I forwarded all her messages and emails to it. Every text, every call log, every receipt, backed up. Then, I needed to know who Mike really was. A quick social media search told me everything. Mike W., 48M, divorced, gym bro wannabe. Works in sales. Classic midlife crisis asshole, designer sunglasses, leased sports car, motivational quotes on his profile. Oh, and the best part? He was one of my wife's old co-workers. They used to work together years ago. So, this wasn't just some random fling. This was planned. At this point, I was done waiting. I needed an inside source. Someone who could confirm everything firsthand. That's when I decided to talk to Kevin. I knew it wasn't fair to drag him into this, but he was the only person I could trust. And if I was going to burn Lisa's life to the ground, I needed all the ammo I could get. So, the next day, I asked him to grab a drink with me. Just father and son. And once we sat down, I looked him in the eye and said, "Kevin, I need to know everything you saw that day. No matter how small." He hesitated. Then, he told me. And what he said made me realize, Lisa had no idea what was coming for her. Kevin shifted uncomfortably in his seat. "Dad, are you sure you want to know?" I nodded. "I already do. I just need details. He sighed. All right. When I saw Mom at the mall, she wasn't just with him. They were, close. Like, way too close for just friends. He avoided my eyes. She kissed him, Dad. I clenched my jaw. Where? Kevin swallowed hard. On the lips. And she kinda leaned into him, like she was really into it. My grip tightened around my drink. I felt the rage bubbling under the surface, but I forced myself to stay calm. Losing my shit wouldn't help. She didn't see you? I asked. No. I was with my friends. I was gonna say something, but I just froze. He exhaled sharply, running a hand through his hair. I didn't want to believe it. I nodded slowly. I get it. Kevin hesitated, then looked me dead in the eye. So what are you gonna do? Good question. At this point, I had more than enough proof. The texts, the receipts, Kevin's eyewitness account, it was airtight. Now, I just had to decide how to deliver the final blow. One thing was for sure, Lisa wasn't walking away from this unscathed. I patted Kevin on the shoulder. Don't worry about that. Just know she's gonna regret every damn second of it. And I meant it. Now that I had confirmation, I wasn't going to waste any more time. Lisa thought she was the mastermind here, sneaking around behind my back while I was too weak to notice. She had no clue I was about to pull the rug out from under her. The first step? Letting her dig her own grave. I knew she had another errand planned that night. She always got dressed up, sprayed on perfume, and left the house with her phone clutched like it held state secrets. So I played dumb. Hey, babe, what's for dinner? I asked, leaning against the counter. She barely looked up from her phone. Oh, I was thinking you could just order something. I have to run out for a bit. I smiled. Oh yeah? Where to? She hesitated, just for a second. Then, the practiced lie, just meeting up with Mia for coffee. Mia. Right. The same Mia, who apparently had stubble and an Adam's apple. I nodded. Sounds good. Have fun. She smirked and gave me the lightest peck on the cheek before rushing out the door. I counted to 10. Then I grabbed my keys and followed her. I wasn't stupid enough to drive right behind her, so I gave her a little head start, then tailed her from a distance. She drove across town, straight to a hotel. Classy, Lisa. I parked down the block and watched as she met Mike in the lobby. The way she threw herself into his arms made my stomach turn. But I wasn't here to cry about it, I was here to end this. I snapped pictures. I filmed a short video of them laughing, touching, acting like a happy couple while I was supposedly at home, too sick to notice. Then, I sent everything to my burner phone. Now, I had her. And tomorrow? She was going to find out just how big of a mistake she'd made. The next morning, I was up before Lisa. I sat at the kitchen table, sipping my coffee, calm as hell. I had every receipt, every text, and a nice little collection of photos and videos. Lisa strolled in like nothing was wrong, wearing one of those fake I'm such a good wife smiles. Morning, she said, opening the fridge. You sleep okay? I set my phone down on the table. Yeah. Slept great, actually. You? She barely glanced at me. Yeah, fine. I smiled. That's surprising. Hotel beds aren't usually that comfortable. She froze. The fridge was still open, but she wasn't moving. Just standing there, her back to me. Then, slowly, she turned around. What? I leaned back in my chair. I followed you last night, Lisa. Saw you meet up with Mike. Got some great pictures, too. I picked up my phone, swiped to one of the videos, and turned the screen toward her. It showed her and Mike, all smiles, wrapped around each other like horny teenagers. Her face went pale. You're insane," she stammered. "You followed me? That's controlling, that's creepy." I laughed. She was calling me creepy? "You've been screwing around behind my back for months, and I'm the bad guy?" I stood up, stepping closer. "While I was fighting cancer, Lisa? Really?" She crossed her arms, trying to look defiant, but she couldn't meet my eyes. It's not what you think." "Oh, it's exactly what I think," I snapped. "Don't even bother lying. I have everything. The texts. The receipts. Kevin saw you." Now she looked shocked. Kevin knows?" I nodded. "And guess what? He thinks you're just as disgusting as I do." That hit her. She flinched, her mouth opening and closing like a fish gasping for air. Then, her expression hardened. "You don't understand," she hissed. "I was alone, taking care of everything while you were." She waved a hand at me, wasting away in bed, all miserable and pathetic. I needed something for myself. I stared at her. "So, what, screwing Mike was your self-care routine?" She had the audacity to roll her eyes. "You're so dramatic." That was it. That was the moment I felt nothing for her anymore. No sadness, no pain, just pure, ice-cold clarity. I took a deep breath. "Good news, Lisa. You won't have to take care of me anymore. Pack your shit and get out." She blinked. "What?" "You heard me. I pointed toward the stairs. Go. Now." She scoffed. "You can't just." "I can and I am." I grabbed my phone again. "You know what else I have? Screenshots of all the money you spent on your little dates. With our accounts." I smiled. "So, if you don't want me dragging you to court for financial fraud and adultery, I suggest you leave quietly." Her face turned red. She opened her mouth, then closed it. Finally, she turned on her heel and stormed upstairs. 15 minutes later, she walked out the front door with a suitcase and slammed it behind her. And just like that, I was free. The second Lisa walked out that door, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time: peace. No more fake smiles. No more sneaking around. No more pretending I didn't notice the way she looked at me like I was a burden. I was done. Kevin came home that evening. I didn't even have to say anything. He took one look around and asked, "She's gone?" "Yep," I said, stretching out on the couch. "Told her to pack her shit and get out." He exhaled, relief washing over his face. "Good." We sat there in silence for a while, just watching TV like nothing had happened. Eventually, he turned to me and said, "You know she's gonna try to come back, right?" I smirked. "Let her try." And she did. Over the next few days, she sent texts ranging from furious to pathetic. "You're overreacting. We need to talk. I made a mistake, but we can work through this. I was just lonely, but I still love you. Do you really want to throw away 22 years over one mistake?" "One mistake? One?" I didn't reply. Not once. Let her scream into the void. Let her sit in the mess she made. And then, the cherry on top. Mike dumped her. Apparently, he wasn't interested in a long-term thing. Once he realized Lisa wasn't just some fun, sneaky affair, but a real woman with real baggage, he ghosted her. Couldn't have happened to a better person. I, on the other hand, focused on myself. My health. My son. My life. And in a twist of fate? A few weeks after she left, I got the news: my cancer was officially in remission. A few months have passed since I kicked Lisa out, and let me tell you, it's been the best decision I ever made. At first, she tried to play the victim, telling mutual friends I was being cruel and heartless for not giving her a second chance. But here's the thing, cheating on your husband while he's battling cancer doesn't exactly win you much sympathy. Word got around fast, and most people cut her off. Kevin and we're solid. Stronger than ever. I can tell he respects me for how I handled everything. Hell, he even admitted, I was scared you'd just forgive her and let her walk all over you. No chance. As for me? I'm healthy. I'm rebuilding. I got back into hobbies I let go of during my illness. I even started going to the gym, something about getting stronger after everything I went through just feels right. And Lisa? She tried crawling back one last time. Showed up at my door looking all sad and pitiful, saying she missed us and that she'd do anything to fix it. I looked her dead in the eyes and said, you weren't lonely. You were selfish. And now, you can live with that. Then I shut the door in her face. So, to anyone reading this who's dealing with betrayal, listen up, you don't have to forgive. You don't have to be the bigger person. You can walk away and never look back. Because sometimes, the best revenge is just living a damn good life without them. And trust me, I'm doing just that.